Have you ever come across a 1999 Susan B. Anthony dollar coin and just tossed it aside, thinking it's not worth much? Well, that little coin might just flip your fortune. Some people are unknowingly sitting on coins that collectors would pay big money for. So, if you've got this coin, stick around till the end of this video, because what we're about to discuss might just turn the tables for you. And at the end, I'll tell you exactly how you can check its value and even sell it. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Let's start with a little background. The Susan B. Anthony dollar coin was first minted in 1979. It was a big deal, the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical woman, Susan B. Anthony, a pioneer of women's rights. That alone makes this coin historically significant. But the original design had some issues. The coin was roughly the same size and color as a quarter, which led to confusion in daily transactions. People didn't like it, and by 1981, production stopped. Fast forward almost 2 decades, and in 1999, the U.S. Mint brought it back. Why? There was a sudden demand for dollar coins, particularly from public transit systems and vending machine operators. The government needed a quick solution before the Sacagawea dollar was introduced in 2000, so they reissued the SBA dollar for one final year. So that makes 1999 the last and final year the Susan B. Anthony dollar was ever minted. And whenever something is a last edition, collectors start to pay close attention. There are 3 versions of the 1999 Susan B. Anthony dollar. 1999p, minted in Philadelphia. 1999d, minted in Denver. 1999p proof, minted in San Francisco, but only for collectors. Now here's the thing, the regular 1999p and 1999d coins were made for circulation. You could find them in change or bank rolls. But the 1999p proof, that one was never released into circulation. It was made for special collector sets only. And because of that, the proof coins are often in near-perfect condition. Combine that with limited production numbers, and you've got a coin that collectors are actively seeking. Now let's talk about what makes a 1999 SBA dollar valuable. First condition. If your coin is beat up or heavily circulated, it probably won't fetch much more than face value. But if it's in brilliant uncirculated condition, or even better if it's been graded MS66, MS67, or MS68 by a professional grading service, the value can jump significantly. Second mint mark. Proof coins from San Francisco are usually worth more due to their rarity and quality. Even uncirculated coins from Philadelphia or Denver can be valuable if they're in high grades. Third, error coins. Here's where it gets interesting. Some 1999 SBA dollars have minting errors like off-center strikes, wrong planchet, or doubled dies. These rare mistakes can boost a coin's value from a few dollars to hundreds, even thousands in some rare cases. So don't just glance at your coin, look closely. A small error could mean a big payday. But here's the catch: values can change frequently depending on market trends, collector demand, and auction results. Which is why it's important not to assume always get an updated price. Now, if you're thinking about selling your 1999 Susan B. Anthony coin, you might be wondering, where do I sell it? Should I get it graded first? Is eBay the best option? What if it's an error coin? And I've got answers. But I'm not going to give them all away right now. But here's the deal, if you really want to know the current value of your coin and how you can sell it for maximum profit, then drop a comment below with 1999 SBA price, and I'll reply with the latest value and the selling procedure step by step. When you do, I'll personally reply with the latest value based on your coin's condition, whether or not it's worth grading, and the step-by-step method to sell it for maximum value. Where the vast majority of 1929 pennies were circulated and worn down. Finding one with full mint luster, strong strike, and flawless surfaces is like finding a time capsule. Second, color. Collectors prize red cents, those that have retained their original fire copper tone. Most old pennies have darkened over time. But if yours still shines with that minty orange-red glow, it could be worth a fortune. Third, rarity at high grade. Plenty of 1929 pennies exist. But in MS67 red? Only one known. And when there's only one, collectors will pay anything. Now think about it, how many old pennies have passed through your hands over the years? How many have you stashed away in jars, never to be looked at again? One of them could be this penny. Let's talk mint marks. If you see a small S below the date, that means it was minted in San Francisco, the scarcer version of the 1929 cent. Combine that with perfect surfaces and bold copper shine, and you might be holding a 5 or 6-figure coin. But the Philadelphia version, which has no mint mark, can also bring in serious money, especially if it shows rare mint errors. That's right, there are 1929 wheat pennies with striking errors like off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and doubling. Some of these flaws turn a $1 penny into a $10,000 collector's item. Even more exciting? These errors were rarely documented back then. So when one surfaces now, it's a big deal. But here is where most people go wrong. They clean their coins. Please, don't do it. One swipe with a cloth, one dip in a cleaner, and you can lose tens of thousands of dollars in value instantly. Instead, if you think your 1929 wheat penny might be valuable, handle it by the edges, store it safely, and get it graded by PCGS or NGC. A professional grade isn't just a label, it's your coin's passport to the big leagues. Because when collectors see MS66 red or MS67 red on a certified slab, they know they're looking at a unicorn. Now let's look at the auction scene. The rare coin market is heating up. With gold and silver prices fluctuating, investors are looking for historical, tangible assets, and high-grade coins like the 1929 wheat penny are in demand more than ever. Coin shows, online auctions, and private sales have seen prices triple for top-tier coins in the last few years. And the 1929 S penny sits right at the center of that storm. Collectors aren't just paying for metal. They're buying history. A coin that survived the Great Depression. That tells a story of resilience, scarcity, and survival. That's what makes the 1929 wheat penny so compelling. It's not just a coin, it's a symbol. So now the question is, what's hiding in your collection? Now let's talk about something that surprises even seasoned collectors, how few high-grade 1929 wheat pennies actually exist. Remember, this was the start of the Great Depression. Coins were used, reused, and worn into the ground. People didn't save them. They spent them to survive. That means the vast majority of 1929 cents are heavily circulated, scratched, darkened, and dinged from years of use. So when a gleaming, untouched copper cent surfaces from that era, collectors go absolutely wild. And rightly so. Because the population report for MS67 red 1929 S wheat pennies stands at just one coin. That's it. And it already sold. But the second one? It hasn't been found yet. Maybe it's sitting in an old shoebox. Maybe it's waiting in your change jar. You won't know until you check. Even coins graded MS65 red or MS66 red are rare and can fetch $10,000 to $30,000 depending on the market. And values are only climbing as more collectors enter the space, competing for fewer top-tier coins. Here's something else to keep in mind, coin grading is everything. Two coins can look nearly identical to the naked eye, but one might grade 2 levels higher and be worth 10 times more. That's why sending it to a reputable grading service isn't optional. It's essential. And don't worry, you don't need to be a numismatist to spot a winner. If you find a 1929 penny that still gleams, with sharp details and no obvious wear, you've got something special. Even if it's not MS67, it could still be a highly valuable piece of history. But what if your coin isn't perfect? What if it has a strange feature or flaw? That could be a good thing. Mint errors from 1929 are not widely catalogued, making every new discovery a potential headline. Double strikes, die breaks, and planchet clips are some of the most desirable and can catapult a coin's value instantly. Take off-center strikes, for example. A 1929 cent struck 20 to 50% off-center with a full date and mint mark can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars, even in lower condition. The key is rarity and visibility. The more dramatic the error, and the better its condition, the more collectors will pay. And it's not just about money. Owning a rare 1929 penny is like holding a piece of American resilience. This coin survived the Dust Bowl, the bread lines, and the worst financial collapse in U.S. history. And now, it might survive in your hands as a generational asset. That's why people collect. Not just to profit, but to preserve. To honor a legacy. To hold history. But of course, the money doesn't hurt. Especially when a 1-cent coin could cover your rent for a year, pay off your student loans, or fund a once-in-a-lifetime vacation. And here's the reality, there are fewer and fewer of these coins being discovered every year. As old estates are cleared out, and collections are passed down or liquidated, the best examples are being snapped up and locked away by high-end collectors. Which means the window is closing. Every year you wait is another chance lost. Every unexamined coin is a question mark. And every collector who acts now is getting ahead of the curve. Let's talk preservation. If you find a promising 1929 wheat penny, store it properly. Use a soft plastic coin flip or an acid-free holder. Keep it away from heat, moisture, and human hands. Copper is sensitive. It reacts. One fingerprint can lower the grade, and the price. And if you're not sure what you're looking at, don't guess. Consult a professional. Local coin shops, online forums, and certified appraisers can help guide you before you submit for grading. Because make no mistake, this isn't just copper. It's potential. It's history. And for a lucky few, it's wealth. So let me ask you again. How many 1929 pennies are sitting in your home, completely ignored? How many have you walked past at flea markets, garage sales, or antique shops? That next overlooked coin might be the one that makes headlines. That puts your name in the auction books. That changes your life. Because the 1929 wheat penny isn't just about the past. It's about what you do next.